working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from.
Это типа Кинг-Конг, да.
Where the screen is 10 meters away.
Это в итоге то, что чувствовали.
About 50 minutes of a feature film. Then about a visual information, that number of pixels representing to the audience is a hell of a lot.
All right, very slow process getting that film made, but now we're going to talk about something much faster, which are our picture cars. Now, a picture car is any car you see on screen during a movie or TV show. Now, whether it's running or not is irrelevant. It might not even have an engine in it. It might even be cut in half, and you only see part of it, kind of like that taxi cab from the Jimmy Fallon Metro set video. But if it's on screen in any capacity, it's a picture car. And in just a few moments, you're going to see some of the most famous picture cars ever put on film. If you don't know what one of these vehicles is from, take a look at the sign behind it. That should clue you in. In fact, several of these vehicles have become just as famous as the people who have driven them. As we enter the transportation department, they're going to be just off to the left-hand side.
Oh my god. О, это машины из разных фильмов. О май гад, Кобра. Back to the Future. Офигеть. 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 Флинстоуны. Блин. Надо посмотреть. Весь фильм. Too Fast and Furious. О, Юрский парк. О, отлично. Вау. Это что за херня? Это из-за которой вот это они... Блин.
Some of the newest additions to our vehicle timeline from the Fast and Furious franchise. Furious 7 came out last summer. Universal's first movie to gross over $1 billion. Followed closely by our second movie to do that the following month. It was the fastest movie to ever gross $1 billion. That was, of course, Jurassic World. Saw the gyrosphere back there from Jurassic World. Now we're going to see some other vehicles from the Jurassic World, the Jurassic Park series.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
That is right, John Hammond. Take a look around. You're going to see some vehicles from the Jurassic Park films. Just past one, off to the right-hand side. Coming up off to the right-hand side, you're going to see the boat from Jurassic Park 3, directed by Joe Johnston. That's going to be off to the right. Coming up off to the left-hand side, you're going to see one of the InGen trucks, as well as the mobile lab unit. You're also going to see this great big cage here. This cage looks like it is metal. It's actually plywood, and they just painted it to look like metal. They actually did the exact same thing with the mobile lab unit. Now, this is the same mobile lab unit that dangles precariously over the cliff's edge in a very exciting scene from that film, but this is actually only painted to look metal. In fact, as we pass the mobile lab, if you look at the front of it, which will be right behind you as we turn, you can see that the wood is starting to flake up. Dino hunting trucks from the Lost World also off to the left-hand side. You might also notice some empty dinosaur cages. Should probably warn you, some of our dinosaurs have gotten out. Been harassing some of our guests all day. They are Dilophosaurus, so they may spit on you, be careful. They also spit a toxic venom, so wipe that off your skin immediately. Here's that mobile lab unit seen from the Lost World I was just telling you about. As you can tell from this scene, weather plays a very integral role in the filming of the Jurassic Park movies. Now, unfortunately, we can't control the weather in our everyday lives, but we can here in Hollywood. We oftentimes have to. Here to tell you a little more about today's weather forecast is America's favorite weatherman, Al Roker.
Hi, everybody. Here's today's forecast for the Universal Backlot. It's going to be sunny and dry in 6 Plains, Texas. Cool and cloudy in Little Europe. Expect snow and sleet on New York Street, and we've got a high chance of fog and precipitation for Skull Island. Isla Nublar. That's the forecast for today. Now here's a look at what's going on in your neck of the lot.
All right, it says here we have a flash flood warning, but I don't know if that's anything we really need to worry too much about. We got some rain coming to the left-hand side of the tram, but I'm sure we'll be fine. going to stay parked here for a moment. We're going to see what happens. Everyone hang on. Alrighty, folks. Sounds like y'all Rover might have been on to something. You may want to hang on.
Ого.
That flash flood was actually created by releasing thousands of gallons of water from a basin held at the top of the hill. The water rushes down, gives us that great effect, then it's recycled back up for the next show. Here's a scene from a movie that used that flash flood area, so you can see what it looks like on camera.
You cannot run the wolf, kid!
Yeah, we'll see about that.
We're now entering into Six Points, Texas. Now, Six Points got its name because this actually used to be 6 separate streets that we could film 6 separate cowboy movies on at the exact same time back in the
Oh,
1990s.
die.
Since they were all silent films, none of them interfered with each other's productions. Each street had its own sheriff's office, its own saloon, its own bank, anything you need for a classic western. Here's a duel that filmed right here at 6 Points. See if you can recognize any buildings as you check this out.
This town ain't big enough for the both of us, Jimmy Fallon.
Well, I ain't going anywhere, Jimmy Fallon.
Now look here. Nice folks in this tramp don't want no trouble. They just want to check out 6 Points, one of the oldest sets on the Universal line.
I heard this is where John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart shot a few of their westerns.
Что это за
That's
фильм?
right. That's where I aim to shoot you.
Looks like we got ourselves a Mexican standoff. Lucky shot.
Now what say you mount up and get out of town while the getting's good?
All right. Well, I'll see you again, Fallon.
Oh, you can count on me, pal. Now get.
This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
We just have to talk it out, that's all.
Alright, we're going to mosey on out of here as well. But before we go, take a look at some of these doorways. You may notice that some of them are built a little smaller than an actual doorway. That was done for a very specific reason. But a cowboy that we wanted to look a little bigger or brawnier than he actually was, we could stick him in front of a smaller doorway so that he gave off that impression. Off to the left-hand side, you'll see a peaceful little lagoon right through some of these trees here. But this lagoon was not quite so peaceful back in the 1950s, as this was the original Black Lagoon from Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's also where Norman Bates stashed his bodies in Psycho, and where they were found in Psycho 2. Creature from the Black Lagoon is far from the only monster to traipse these sets. Take a look off to the left-hand side. Some of the most famous sets right back here that we have on our back lot. This area is called Little Europe. It was built for a movie called All Quiet on the Western Front back in 1929. It was actually Universal's first film to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. But the reason those sets are so famous is because it's where we film scenes from all of our classic Universal monster films. So all of our most famous monsters, Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Wolfman, the Mummy, they've all traipsed through Little Europe at one time or another, filming scenes there repeatedly over their long and illustrious franchises. Today, those sets are currently being used for the sitcom we were already talking about, called The Good Place. All of the exterior filming for that show takes place right over there in Little Europe. But as I was saying, this is where all of our classic Universal horror films were born. Let's take a look at what these sets looked like when we were using them most frequently in the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Finish it now. Come on, let's meet in the woods. Get out the bloodhounds. Raise all the men you can, lock the women indoors, and wait for me. I'm ready! Take your torches and go!
Wow.
We're now entering into a hot set. And what a hot set is any set that's ready for filming. If you look around as we get in here, you're going to see some equipment there using to film a big budget special effects disaster movie. Cast and crew have all left for the day. We've been given permission to come in real quick, take a quick look around, and then skirt on out of here. This is a special effects soundstage, but we've been given word that the special effects have been deactivated for the time being. It's supposed to be a subway station in San Francisco. There's a bay above us on one side. Alright folks, I wouldn't worry too much about that. They promised us the special effect deactivated. It's nothing to worry about. Okay, we'll just hang tight. We're going to find out what's going on. We're going to get you out of here just a second. And you have nothing to worry about. You're going to be fine, I promise. I think that's the worst of it. Alright, you folks just survived Earthquake, the big one. Now I was playing a little joke on you. It's not actually a hot set at the present moment. But if that were a hot set, a scene like that could take weeks to film, even longer to edit together. But the final result might just be worth it. There's a scene from an episode of a show called Bones that filmed right inside that soundstage. So far today on the tour, we've talked about quite a few of our established filmmakers that we collaborate with most regularly here at Universal. Of course, Academy Award winner Peter Jackson, non-Academy Award winner Alfred Hitchcock, which is crazy. 53 movies, he never won an Academy Award. But then we have another filmmaker that we collaborate with most regularly here. He is an Academy Award winner, probably the most famous filmmaker of all time. His name is, of course, Steven Spielberg, and right now we are going back to Amity Island.
Oh, челюсти.
Now, I do not want you folks to worry because they have captured the shark that's been terrorizing the community. He's strung up just off to the right. That shark is dead. A little smaller than I thought he'd be, but he's not going to hurt anyone else. Now, my friend George, he's a police diver here at Amity. He should be over there in the water doing a sweep of the water, making sure they got the right shark, making sure it's safe to go in. Oh my goodness, folks, I do not like the look of this. That dorsal fin is huge. Hey, George! Get out of the water, you got the wrong shark! Oh my goodness. Oh my God, folks, look at all that blood. That is terrible. Alright, I'm hurting right now. George is actually one of my really good friends, but we have to save ourselves now, so we're going to come over here. We're going to hide behind these flammable gas tanks. I'm sure we'll be safe there. Everyone hang on. We got some bait tied to the end of the yellow barrel out there to distract the shark. Oh, he's taking the entire dock. Watch out, everybody. Alright, right, that shark was working pretty well, but the original shark that they used for filming did not work as effortlessly. It was tested in a freshwater tank inside one of our sound stages on the front lot, but the first time they ever put the machine in the Atlantic Ocean, it was not used to the salt water that actually sank. Cast and crew started nicknaming the troubled production flaws. They had so many issues while making that film, they had to push the release date back all the way from a winter release all the way back to a summer release. It was one of the most tumultuous productions ever, but it worked out. It came out. It was the most successful film of all time. I'm going to tell you a little more about the trials and tribulations of the filming of Jaws. The director of that film, Mr. Steven Spielberg.
That's a much maligned shark. The shark was frustrated. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
Wherever you were on the island, you could hear the radio waves. They were always saying, the shark is not working. The shark is not working.
We just waited around. We just waited. The shark was well enough for a while, but it was easy. So I think it was quite a lot.
But it wasn't all blood and guts here in Amity Island, because this area was also used as Cabot Cove in 12 incredibly successful seasons of Murder, She Wrote. Off to the right-hand side, this white house here is called the Chicken Ranch, made famous by Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds in a film called The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. It was also used in Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses, a number of other productions as well. We're now turning down one of the most talked about streets in television history. Welcome to Wisteria Lane, home of the Desperate Housewives. Now, if you're a fan of the show, some of the houses may look a little different than you remember this past summer. Some of them underwent renovations, some of them have new paint jobs, but this is where all of your favorite housewives lived for 8 years of filming. Here's exactly what the street looked like when they were making Desperate Housewives.
If there is one thing everyone in suburbia can appreciate,